What's up, guys? Welcome back to Blood, Sweat, and Gear with Coaches Skip Hill, Andrew Berry. I'm Scott McNally, and all our programming is brought to you by you, the people of Patreon. We've got some Patreon questions today. Thank you for your support. And we are brought to you by TrueNutrition.com. Use our code THINK over there to get additional savings on high-quality, third-party tested and in-house tested supplements from a company that you can trust. All your basic stuff like creatine, intra-workout, of course, protein powder, and of course, supplementsource.ca for our Canadians. They have great deals that change week to week. And by the way, for the next month, we're brought to you by this company, Mayano. I'm using this microphone, the Mayano PD200W. I've actually been really happy with it. So we've got a link for them if you guys want to check them out. I know I get asked all the time about like, hey guys, I'm starting a podcast. What equipment should I buy? So anyway, we're going to just jump in here with, for us, this is pre-Thanksgiving. This is like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I think one of the biggest party nights of the year.
Biggest party night of the year.
Well, you guys are going to get on
Super
Black
Bowl's
Friday.
gotta be. Super Bowl's gotta be bigger.
I think isn't it New Year's and pre-Thanksgiving?
I thought, pre-Thanksgiving, and there's like one of the most dangerous nights to be out driving, too, I think,
really?
At nighttime. Yeah.
Not for
It's
me.
crazy.
Super Bowl has to be up there, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're all stressed, getting ready to deal with their families tomorrow. You know what I mean?
True. That reminds me. I got to text Rachel and tell her to pick up a bottle of wine for our. We don't drink, but we're going to someone's house tomorrow, and they do a lot of nice things for us. We should get them a nice bottle, not the kind you get at the grocery store, but the kind you get at a wine store. So
get a really nice box of wine.
Yeah. Just bring some grapes and like a trophy. Like we figured we'd give you, we'd make it tonight.
We don't drink it. We don't know.
Yeah. So let's jump into some listener questions. We're just going to make this one basically most likely a gear Q&A, but we'll see what else everybody comes up with. And if you guys want to take part in the next show, then definitely comment below all your comments and likes, all that stuff. Hit the hype button. All that stuff helps to boost us up, and we much appreciate it. All right. So Phil he says, Scott, I've got a bit of a unique question for you. It says 4-year-old vials of Test Sip and Test E in grapeseed oil, still sealed, but have been sitting in the dark closet. The temperature of the room is 60 to 85 degrees at whatever given time it is, summer or winter. Would there be any reason to be scared of using these? Would the hotter temperature degrade the test faster?
60 to 80 degrees is a pretty big.
60 to 80?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to go ahead and say it probably is fine, right? Because you got to think of things that ruin compounds: electricity, intense heat, intense cold, sunlight, and too much oxygen. So it's kind of free of all of those things. So I feel like it's probably fine. I would use it. I'm just telling you right now. Like if I
all of us would use it.
Yeah, I'm being honest. I would use it.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what you do. Here's what I would do.
All right.
1/2 mil.
Okay.
Not terribly deep. That way, if it abscesses, they don't have to dig as deep.
Oh well, there's nothing to say you don't have to re-sterilize it. You can totally heat it up. And
you can.
Yeah.
That's arguably a better option. But if you're a gambler, just take a small dose. And then you see how you tolerate it. And let's put it this way. None of us would do that. We would just take our total dose, which would be like, it's good. Yeah, I was just saying 60 to 80 degrees. I mean, that is a pretty substantial difference. Not that it's bad at, like it's horrible or egregious at 80 degrees, but I'm just saying, 60 is pretty cold. 80
for the guys in Florida. 60 is pretty cold. Over here I'm in shorts,
Can't stand. That's the one thing I don't like about Florida. Andrew, come on.
What?
Everywhere you go, it's freezing. You go to a restaurant, it's freezing.
Oh, when you go inside, they have the air cranked.
It's freezing.
Yeah, but it gives you a reason to wear your sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I only wear sweatshirts when I train and when I do the podcast. That's the only time I wear them.
I love the weather in Florida. I have no complaints about it.
Outside,
don't mind.
not inside.
I like it both because, I guess you cool back off when you're inside, right?
Yeah, it's good for the first 5 minutes because it's warm outside. After that, though, I don't know. When my nose is cold, my hands are cold, that's not good.
I've used gear that's expired. Like, there's no real expiration date on UGL.
Why are you bringing this back in, Scott?
There's no real, true expiration date on UGL gear. You know what I'm saying? They just, put a number on there. And they put it way down the road.
I mean, if the Tren is no longer amber and it's like clear, that might be when I'm like, okay, I'm going to toss this.
What if it's really brown?
So that's
some.
That's actually the next question.
Oh, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the next guy,
sweet of the juice.
Patreon's reading your mind, Skip, because David says, all right, planning to do a low dose Tren cycle, titrating up to 100 milligrams a week over 6 to 8 weeks, along with 400 tests. What color is Tren A supposed to be? LOL. Because this stuff is reddish brown. I stashed my vial of gear in my box and I thought, maybe that's not right.
I would say it's a cross between Skip's complexion and mine.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
you're catching up there, Andrew. You're getting darker there.
Yeah, you are.
A couple days of melanotan in me, Skip. A couple days. So.
I'm gonna have to catch up with you guys.
If I can't be jacked, I'm gonna be tan. So, no. So, what color's too dark? Is that what you're saying?
Well, like, what is this reddish brown? He's like, I don't know about this.
I want to see a picture of it because I'm just being honest. We are all,
I believe it's just
we're pretty well connected.
Isn't it just
Here's
pigment?
my thing. It looked like tar.
Oh.
No,
like
I'm
black?
talking like it was a very, I should take a picture. I don't think I have it here in my home, but I could get a picture of it.
Of course
Exactly.
you would have it in your house.
We all, I hesitated. You guys all kind of smiled like, I know why he's doing that. But like you're drawing it and it's falling like it's muck.
Does it look like molasses?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. That's a better way to put it. And this is a solid sort. Like, I'm like, okay. And this is right before the show, like 4 weeks. And I'm like, there's a new bottle. So I grabbed another bottle from the same, and it was the same thing. So you know me. Well, hope it works. And then the next couple of days, I am panicked because it doesn't hit right away.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to take a minute, and all of a sudden your body has to freak out. Your white blood cell count goes through the roof, that type of thing. It's fighting this
autoimmune stuff.
Foreign, exactly. This foreign substance. But it was fun.
You could just, to make yourself feel better, you could run it through a Wattman filter again. And you know what I mean?
It's a pretty laborious task.
It is. Your hand gets fucking numb.
Come on.
Yeah.
Push that shit. You could do that and you could rebake it. And,
I felt better that the other ones were the same. Like, well,
yeah,
it's either all really good or it's all really bad. I don't know. And I had no issues from it. But I was, admittedly, after I took it, it was one of those things where I go, Skip, like, better than that. Like, what the hell were you thinking? So the next couple of days, I was a little anxious. I'm like, this could really go badly for me. And it was fine.
I have seen Tren oxidize over time, where it starts out like the golden tone, and over time, being exposed to oxygen, it ends up turning that like a reddish tone. Yeah. I have seen that happen. I never saw no molasses brown Tren though.
By the time it mixed with everything, because there's like 42 compounds in this barrel, right? So by the time I mix it up and everything else, because I do that, and I run it underwater and then I have to mix it. I don't want like different shades and different kind. It all has to be mixed.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It is
you really
bizarre red color that I've not seen before.
How long does it take you to take one injection of like a CC? If you're mixing, say, 33% of 3 different compounds, just
I'm a pretty slow.
What are we talking? Is this 10 minutes? Is this a half hour?
Yeah.
Project?
Is it like?
No, I'd say. I mean, let's just say it's 3 mil, arbitrary number.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would probably take the entire plunge would take about a minute.
No, I'm talking like from pulling it out of your cabinet or wherever, not in your house, obviously, but when you go to that place that has it and you're pulling the compounds out and you're putting them into the syringe and then you're going back and forth like this and you're heating it up. Oh. How long is that process?
The whole process. Like, I'm going to take a shot.
Yes.
To the time I'm done taking a shot.
I preload for the week. So every time I have a shot, I have to go to the storage unit to do that.
So let me ask you this. How, when you go to the storage unit, obviously this undisclosed place, and you get all your preloads together for the week, how long does that process take you?
Then we can divide by 7.
Okay. Well, remember, I'm bilateral too. Anytime I take a shot, it's left, right.
So by 14.
14.
Yes, exactly. So, which is very difficult to do once you figure out your dosages and where you want them, to break them up and make sure that it's right. This is a check,
Spit
double
out the
check,
fucking number.
Check. I don't know.
What is the time?
I'm leaving the viewer hanging.
All right.
Are we talking like 30 minutes?
No.
Are we talking like an
I'll
hour?
run it underwater under warm water, trickle of warm water, just so that it's on the barrel for a minute maybe. Until basically you can see the viscosity, it gets thinner so that it moves quicker.
Now, do you multitask with several syringes, or you just do one at a time?
I do 2 at a time because of the bilateral thing.
So that tells us a little something. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're learning.
So
I still
it's
think
a couple minutes.
this whole thing though, like getting it all ready, to me, this is kind of like on Sunday we do laundry at the house.
Yeah, that's what
you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like a
it's
weekly
a chore of something that you do to set your. But it seems laborious.
Oh yeah, it really does.
Gear prep.
Like it takes me literally 45 seconds to maybe 60 seconds from pulling bottles out, putting into a syringe, and injecting and throwing the thing away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If that.
I'm probably somewhere between you two then. I'm probably like 5 minutes, maybe tops.
I'm literally watching a YouTube video, not even paying attention while I'm doing it.
Oh, is that right? No, I probably give myself shots now after all these years, the same way I did the first couple years. I don't like them. I've never liked them. It's not so I will literally wake up in the morning and I check my list of things. I'm like, today's a gear day. Like, I'll be happy if it's not. Like, and that's why I like TRT so much too. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. I don't have to do this.
So Skip now teaches the nurses at the local college how to give proper injections, how to properly measure.
Remember, I have 2 daughters. One graduates with her DNP in spring, and the other one graduates with her RN. And they'll hit me up with questions and things about. I'm like, that's just not even right. That is not the right spot. This is what you did. And I'll explain it to her. I'm like, that's not what they're going to teach you. But I think I have done more injections personally than any of your cohorts or anyone who's going to train you.
Any single registered nurse in their entire career.
Have you never seen, have you seen a nurse never just totally jab, plunge, and they're done? No one does that.
Hold on. I remember seeing a lot of videos of a certain vaccine being injected on TV, and they were just like
hammering it in
and just throwing it right in. And I'm like, no aspiration, no actually sizing up exactly where they're putting it.
Aspiration's overrated.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I don't remember the last time I did.
No, but I mean either. But I'm just saying, if you look up the proper technique, those nurses were probably taught a little differently than what they're doing.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, there are Black Friday sales that I am not talking about on YouTube. Whatever you do, I would not go to the Think Big Facebook group to learn more there. I wouldn't follow me over at Scott McNally 1 on Instagram or Think Big Bodybuilding. And I definitely wouldn't listen to the audio podcasts on Spotify or iTunes or whatever else you listen to. I wouldn't do any of those things because I wouldn't want to learn about those deals. All right. How about this one? And I kind of have a side question to go. Well, another question to go with it from Damon. He says, I have realized that I get far superior mind-muscle connection when using 25 milligrams of oxandrolone pre-workout. I've tried other orals for this and have not noticed anything near the effect that I get from Oxan. Possibly in my head, or is there something chemical that I'm not aware of? Thanks, fellas. So I want to piggyback off that and ask you, which oral steroid gives you the best pump? In his case, it's oxandrolone. Yeah.
I don't think it's mind muscle. I think, and I have said, you guys have heard me say for a long time, the contractile force of the muscle, this is just for me because I don't know how anybody else feels, but you could literally put 7 different orals in front of me. I take each oral for a week. I'll tell you which one's Anavar.
Yeah.
No question, because I will feel that it just feels like the muscle is contracting so hard it's just going to rip from your sternum. It's different.
A different feel.
It's a totally, you have all the other ones, and then you have Anavar up here. I don't want to go too high because then you can't see my hand.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think Anavar, I would say a second, but kind of a distant second is Anadrol. But Anavar, yeah. You take 25, 50 milligrams of that in the morning, 2 hours later, you go to the gym, you know you took it.
Yeah.
So
I don't get the posing. You're like, Dang, man.
I don't get the pre-workout effect from it. Like I
do you
don't.
mean?
I need the like 7 to 10 days of running it before I get the
Really?
like that really strong
Second day in,
Yeah.
I know I'm on Anavar.
Same
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Now, if
I
I
don't-
miss it that day, I'm not gonna like go to the gym and go, "Hey, what happened?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a couple days in, I can. It's just so obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you guys are putting Anavar up there at the top, even
I agree.
higher than Anadrol.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys know I'm a big fan of D-ball. I do have to say one thing: the pump that you get while on Winstrol, and you're closing in on that show, and you add that Winstrol in. You started it at 4 weeks out, and now you're 10 days out. And you're starting to dry out. You know what I mean? There is nothing to me that compares to that nasty cement like Winstrol hardness that you get when you get a pump.
Hardness or pump though? I feel like we're talking
I know.
slightly different things here. Like we're talking
Are we,
intramuscular pump, or are we talking just like my muscles feel like hard granite?
But
So I think they're different.
I think are they, or is it just a different version of the pump? That's the question I'm asking myself, is it a different version of a pump? Because technically I'm like getting muscle in the blood or blood in the muscle, right? And I'm getting the pump effect, but now instead of like getting the ballooned Anadrol or, D-ball feel, it's just like this grainy, nasty cement hard feeling.
I think they're two different feelings.
Oh, they're very different feelings. I agree.
So I would say the Anavar is the pump, the Winstrol's the granite. I don't have a better term.
That's how you explain
Now
it.
you want to get the best of both worlds.
You
do
don't.
both.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I'm like, I don't know if I've taken Winstrol without antibiotics.
Yeah, let's not.
That. I mean,
Why choose?
I have taken just Winstrol without Anavar for preps, and yeah, undoubtedly, Anavar adds that second layer. So yeah,
All right. Guess it's settled then. I like that. From the Facebook group, what benefits would you be looking for with growth hormone at 1 unit per day, 5 days on, 2 days off? Been using peptides and thought I'd play around with this. Possibly using peptides when coming off, but running for a few months. I'm not really trying to get bigger, but I want to get healthier, like the college effects and recovery from an athletic hernia.
the benefits, I guess, are that you have more to invest in your stock plan, I guess. One unit a day is what he said, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I would say that's akin to saying, you know what, I want to build my, and I'm not knocking it, the guy, I'm just giving a comparison. It's akin to saying, I want to increase my savings, so I'm going to put a dime in every other day.
Yeah.
There's no ROI there. I don't see it. From a health, he's talking about health, he's talking about collagen. I can't say that there would be zero effect, but is it quantifiable? I would say probably. You're not going to be like, oh, I noticed it. No.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to notice anything.
What would be
Which
the
brings
minimum?
me to a piggyback question. What is the minimal dosage?
Yeah.
And I say it's a couple units.
Yeah. Maybe
Daily.
like 2.
Two.
I would say that's like the basement.
Yeah. I'm trying to recall how many milligrams a healthy adult male of GH is produced per day. And it's 400 micrograms, so 0.4 milligrams. Okay. And then...
So it's like 1.5 units. Ish.
So what I'm saying is you're basically just putting back in what, your body would be making. Maybe a smidge more.
And maybe not as good a quality either.
The GH that your body's producing is
it's
GH.
legit.
So
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I guess. Okay, here's a scenario. Let me know what you guys think. If you could only do 1 unit of GH a day, would you rather do that, or would you rather do something like tesamorelin or like a GH secretagogue instead?
This
I
is
would
like
probably go with that secretagogue.
I might too in that situation.
Yeah.
This I feel like Peter Griffin is asking his friends who's better to sleep with, and giving two crappy options.
Well,
I don't.
that's okay.
Okay, it's a legit. I'm gonna assume that it's farm grade, and I'm gonna go with the GH. But that's only because I don't know why. Probably because I'm not big on the peptides.
I'm not either.
Mimic, yeah.
Okay, what about this though? Here's what I would absolutely do. If you could only do 1 unit of growth a day, or you only wanted to do 1 unit of growth a day, I would do 1 milligram of tesamorelin a day as well. And I would take the Tessa like at least an hour to 2 hours before I take the GH. So nighttime before bed, I take the Tessa, I'd go and lay down. If I had to set an alarm for an hour later, then I would take the exogenous GH 1 unit. And I think that's how you're going to get 1 + 1 equaling closer to 2.
And just to be fair, for contrast, he did ask every other day. He didn't even say daily.
Oh, it's every other day? Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
He said every other day.
I think he said every day or 5 days on, 2 days off.
I think that's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 on, 2 off.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 every other day, man. That would be real bad.
Oh, I guess I would ask him, is it a financial thing, or is it what's the reasoning with using such a low amount? Because I think we all agree that somewhere around 2 units is like the minimal effective dosage to see anything on growth hormone. So I guess maybe he wants to follow up and we can answer next time.
It's not, it's not cheap, but it's not expensive.
Not like
we're talking bananas. Like if this were in the units of bananas, we could say like a couple hundred bananas could get you enough growth to run 2 units a day. Let's see, 100. If you did 2 units a day, Andrew, 5 days a week, you could do that for 10 weeks, right? So 20 weeks of 2 units a day for a couple hundred bananas would be pretty affordable.
Very affordable. Yeah.
To the point where if it were Serostim, it would be relatively affordable if you think about it.
I just think of it this way. I think it's really easy to look around in your life. Like, what do I waste money on? Whether it's stopping to get a Monster Energy drink every other day at $3.50, or now they're like $4 in some places, or stopping to get a water bottle at $2 versus just filling up a water bottle at home. Little things like that. What could you cut out of your life to replace that with a couple units of growth, right?
I remember I went and bought one of my watches. And I remember thinking to myself, because this is a joke between myself and my buddy Tommy, and I just, I knew the price. I was like, how many kits of Serostim is it? That's how we equate the expense of something. How many kits of Serostim does that equal? How horrible. You're a meathead when you do something like that. You're like, I don't know. This is a lot of kits of Serostim.
Yeah.
Outside of Dave Palumbo, there is nobody who has podcasted longer than me in the hardcore bodybuilding space. And as a result, I've kind of become that guy, like the podcast dad that everybody reaches out to when they want to start a new show. Well, recently I partnered with this company, Mayano, and I've been testing out their microphone, the PD200W. And honestly, I've been super happy with it. It kind of exceeded my expectations, especially given the price. Right now, I am totally wireless. It's a feature I didn't think I was going to enjoy as much as I do. You can also plug it into your phone. So you've got the same great sound on both your computer and your mobile device. You can also plug it in with USB-C or XLR, and the whole experience has been easy. I literally just plugged it in and started recording. The batteries lasted forever. I've been recording for the last month. I've only charged it twice. And as I already alluded to, the price is really good. So if you're looking for a new microphone, I give it my seal of approval. In fact, I would buy this over the $1,000 setup that I normally use, to be completely frank. Plus it comes with a stand. So you're set to go. It's all you need. I've got a link in the description. They're having holiday sales. If you need a new mic, this is a great way to go. We've got Josh in the stream. We've got a few questions in the stream. We'll make sure to get all of those. He says, guys, I crushed my E2. Is there any way that I can get that back quickly?
I guess
stop doing what you crushed it.
Yeah. What's the mechanism of crushing? How did you make that happen? Were you using like 25 mgs of Aromacin every day when you didn't need it? Were you like, were there drugs you can just stop taking, or do you need to add a drug in? Or change your cycle up? I guess that's the question. So
let's say it was test and EQ.
Okay. Bump your test up.
Right.
Drop the EQ for a week.
Trying to think of what else would...
Add Trenbolone, like low dose for a couple days or for a while.
Yeah. A couple D-ball.
Add some debug. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ways you could raise that D2 up for quickly.
He says, oh, just a nice comment here from the same guy, Josh. He said, I've been consuming YouTube content, bodybuilding content for the last 5 years. Found your channel about 5 months ago. Learned more in those 5 months than all those other 5 years. How about that?
That takes me back to what we were talking about before the show. This guy is looking for bodybuilding content, and it's not his fault, but he couldn't find the content.
Where were you 5 years ago when I put that episode out with Brandon Curry? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
that's why I
just
blame
so
YouTube.
much content.
Yeah,
there is, especially now.
Yeah. I mean, oh man, I was listening to I think a podcast where they talked about how many new podcasts go up every day, and how many minutes or hours of podcast material is uploaded to YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and it's mind blowing. Like, it's mind blowing.
When I started bodybuilding podcasting, there were about 4 other podcasts. 4, literally. Skip was on one of them.
I was going to say, you took over one of them. Like, well, I'm going to dominate PED radio right now. They're done.
John and Shelby had one for a short while.
Oh, I loved that show.
Blue Collar Bodybuilding, I think.
Blue Collar Muscle Radio.
That's it. Yep. That was a good one.
I think you can still find those episodes too.
Yeah.
I sent you episode 10, Scott.
Of PED radio with John Meadows. Yeah. That was good.
That was crazy. I wouldn't have thought it would even have been there. I just
2013, was it?
It just said 11 years ago, so that could be like 11 years and 11 months and 11 days. I don't know, but something like that. So 14, 13, probably 2013.
So another question in here. All right, it says 13 weeks into an 800 test, 600 deca, 600 primo push. Supplier is out and need to step reduce the dose because the plan is 26 to 32 weeks. How much reduce the dose till and then somebody commented basically how much reduce the dose and still progress well. What would and can you do?
So I assume he's talking about the primo. That's the compound that he can't get, and that I guess if you're going to plan a 32 weeks or 10 weeks or 15 weeks of something, it's good to have everything on hand. You know what I mean? Like, if your plan is for something, which is why, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I say this is not a prescription for doses. This is not me telling you exactly what to do. It's just, I give a full 20 something odd weeks of compounds, weeks, rough amounts. This is just so you know what to have for when. Right. Yeah. So like, I'm probably going to start thinking about this compound then. It behooves me that you don't have this stuff on hand already, like at the start of prep. So I would kind of say the same thing to him. Like, probably should have stocked up, but now you didn't. Is he wondering, does he have a lot of primo left, or does he only have enough for like 3 weeks? That's the question.
Isn't it just the primo too, or is it part of the test? Because you could, I mean, if he's doing 800 tests, 600 deca, 600 primo, he could completely run that without the primo.
That's
and still do fantastic, right?
Yeah. You could
still
add EQ in. You could add something else in.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Would you replace that? You know, I feel like if that was my cycle and I was going to pull 600 out, I'd want something else in.
Yeah.
Just that's how my brain operates. I don't want to go from like starting out for the first 10 weeks with a high dose and then dropping down to 2/3 of that for the next 8. I want to keep it up.
I agree with you.
What do you guys think about building a dose as you go? Say, I've had some conversation with guys on the shows lately about that. Maybe our goal is going to be to run 1,500 tests, right? Mm-hmm. And 1,500, well, I'm just going to make some numbers up. We'll say 1,500 tests, 800 of a DHT, and maybe 300 of an anabolic, some MPP. I don't know. All right. Would you ever start lower? Say that we've had some time off and we're getting into the cycle. Do we need to jump straight to that 1,500 test, or would there be any point in starting lower, getting something out of that and building it? And do you ever do that with people?
I guess it comes down to what's the person's experience. Are they someone that alternates, say, blast and cruise of that said cycle you just mentioned? And so they, like, those are their doses they know that work. Or is it a somewhat younger or less experienced client or person who, well, we don't know if you need 1,500 mgs a test and 800 deca and 400, whatever. We don't know if you need all that. Let's say you're 23 years old and you've only done 500 tests and maybe 500 deca before. We don't need to jump to a cycle that large, even if in your mind you're like, oh, this is the cycle I planned out. What do you think? It's like, well, maybe let's start back out with like maybe 600 tests and 400 deca, and we can always go up after 4 to 6 weeks, and we can increase from there. So you get what I'm saying? Like, if it's a guy who's in his 35 to 40, he knows his experience with PEDs. He knows that I cap out somewhere around 1,500 tests, X amount of whatever, anabolic and whatnot. Then I might just say, yeah, let's just jump to that cycle. We know it works for you. Let's go with what we know works.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually do something similar this next year. I'll start a cut phase in February, and I'll start a cycle. I've been TRT. I think you guys know I've been TRT since mid-July after the show, and I'm going to remain TRT. And for the viewers, it's not TRT. I like this one, TRT plus.
You're not TRT plus? You're legit, like you're talking legit TRT.
It's legit TRT. And
when
I
you say,
love it.
Are you in range then? Like legit TRT? Or are you on like 250 tests?
$10.99.
Oh, okay.
10. If it gets down to 1070, I just got to get back up there. No, but I mean that's what I'm shooting for. Yeah. So it's coming into this next cycle in cut phase. I'm gonna do something. Now I do something similar and always have where, okay, it'll go up a little bit at the 12-week mark, considering it might not be trend at 12 weeks, but there will be the dosages will come up a little. What I'm gonna do this time is, I'm going to start very low. I'm not going to go much higher than TRT. Here's an example. It might only be a total milligram of 600 or 700, okay? But then as I make diet changes, and this is the plan going in, it may, change. It'll be tweaked. It'll be adjusted. But as I make diet changes and the calories come down and or the caloric output goes up, I'm going to adjust gear or increase gear. The plan is to do it basically at the same time. Every time that I make an adjustment with the calories, or the caloric output, I'm going to increase the dosage. And we all do something similar to that. Like as an example, you may add orals at 6 to 8 weeks out. I mean, that's clearly, a jump in dosing if you're going to put those on top of what your injectables are, or adding Tren. So, people might be thinking, well, what are you going to do for milligrams? That's not even... I'm not there yet. I have plenty of time to figure that out. But as an example of putting something in like Trend where that dosing may not be high or as high as a different compound, because milligram for milligram, I mean, it's pretty strong. So, it may only be an increase of 300 milligram as an example, arbitrary number, but it wouldn't be like that's the equivalent to 300 milligram of EQ as an example. But I'm coming into this cycle and into this cut phase with the idea of increasing the dosage as my calories come down or my caloric output goes up. And I want to see how it's going to work.
I kind of like that idea. I think that my initial cycle building was related to coming off to recover, years ago. Right. Mm-hmm. So the thought was always like all three of us, when we started cycles, there were like 8 weeks, 10-week cycles. And part of that was that because you could only stay on so long before you get so shut down, you want to be able to come off PCT, whatever, and then recover and then do it again. Nowadays, we don't have to worry about that. Everybody's on TRT basically, right? Or cruise between cycles. Mm-hmm. So we kind of have more time. I don't feel like we need to and I think that's part of what the front loading was about, because we only have 10 weeks. So let's make sure we get the most out of it, get those levels up from week 1 kind of thing, or, kick starting. Now I'm kind of like, well, man, if I've been at a cruise dose, or client's been at a cruise dose, or maybe he hasn't done, he hardly run gear at all. Had this last year, he's been on TRT. If we just go to 300 tests, just that in itself is going to we're not, big picture, he's not a competitor. So we're not trying to get on stage next year. We're just trying to make the best gains we can. If I'm on 300 tests for that first 8 weeks, and he's making good progress with that. Maybe we start adding in something else after, 6 weeks in, and then build it. I don't know. I feel like with the anabolic load was a lot lower, so we can stay on it longer. There's that, I don't know, but it's kind of just been a thought that I've had in this past year or so.
Well,
I could
with
see you
your-
getting good progress out of that, Skip. I'd be curious.
with your thought process too, Scott, there's other things you can add beside AAS too, right? You could layer in insulin, up your growth hormone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think there's a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of synergy between AAS, insulin, and growth hormone. So it just brought me back to a conversation I had with a client today, where instead of increasing the PED dose, hey, let's add in some insulin at the peri-workout window now. Let's bump the GH up another dose. So there's other levers to play than just AAS.
Yeah. And then you get, say, 8 weeks in. So if we went hard and we started with that 1,500 milligrams, by 8 weeks in now, it's like, yeah, you're still doing great, right? There's no question about it. But you're kind of at the dose you're going to be at, versus now we could literally double where you're at, or I don't know. Just a thought. I've heard in Cuba has kind of been doing that kind of thing. And then I just talked to somebody else, Nathan Stiles, he took a bunch of time off. He wanted to get his significant other pregnant. So he took basically a year of first 6 months was nothing, and then TRT. And now he's just gotten back on cycle. He's 3 weeks in after a year off. So he's starting lower. He's going to build.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing too is I'm going to try. Basically, I had this goal. I wasn't going to say this because it's just my own thing. I don't think anybody can really have a takeaway here, but I would like to come out of this next cut phase and end up not going over 50% of what my dosing was last year. It's something, and I'm not going to stick to it if it doesn't look like it's working, but I'm basically trying not to up and increase my dosing any more than I need to, because I feel like it feeds things like inflammatory responses and things like that. And the reason I say that, I've come to this in the last couple months. I've been doing a lot about thinking about it prior to that, but just how well my off season is going on TRT. And I'm not on an absurd amount of calories or anything like that, but the recovery is just so good, and I feel so much better and less inflamed without doing as many drugs. So I figure, you know what? The worst case scenario is I get into a cut phase and I feel like, okay, I am going to have to make bigger incremental increases. Okay. But I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try to keep it as low as I can and just see what that response is. And if it doesn't work, then I have plenty of time to increase them if I need to.
The lolly says, I have my next 4 years in a storage unit. See, stocked up. That. He knows what he likes. He knows what he's going to use. He's planning ahead.
I'm a year at a time. I don't know how you guys go, but I'm the same way, Andrew. The last thing I want is myself or our client scrambling to try to get something. As I have this thing, it's a pet peeve of mine for years. When a client tells me they ran out of anything, if you run out of creatine and they can't figure it out for 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I meant to tell you. I guess I didn't think about. It's like, if there's one thing about this lifestyle is you need to be regimented, you need to be highly structured, planful, and constant variables. Keep the variables the same. And if for some reason you don't, you kind of got to tell us. We have to know that stuff. So it is. It's like nails on a chalkboard, and it's a giant eye roll is what I'll be nice about it. 10, 15 years ago, I'd have probably been a prick. In my older age, I've become a little more chill. But it's a giant eye roll.
Are you talking smack to your wall? While you're typing nicer things, are you
Yeah. It's just for the love of God, really? Come on now.
Yeah. Bill just, the lolly, he just competed in his first show and looked incredible, man. In a couple interesting notes. Number one, he is that perfect client with having everything on hand. He was like, what do you think of Proviron? You think that'd be beneficial? You know, I was like, well, we could run that. What do you got? And he's like, well, I can get 100 more tabs, you know, in
100
2
more.
days.
100 more.
But I can get it started for the next 4 weeks. I got plenty. You
So
know?
he already has things anticipating what you might want. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Never used a diuretic in his life. He's like, oh yeah, I have a whole bunch of hydrochlorothiazide if we need
That's
that.
Here's the thing. Like, I tell everyone, when I was competing, I had a friggin' pharmacy. Literally, it looked. If you open up my closet, well, it's a different house, but you open up the closet, you know, like a traditional closet in a condo or a house. You know, it's what is it? Maybe 6 feet wide. Yeah, and you install those little white metallic, you know, clothes holders or whatever you call them, shelving. Mm-hmm. The whole thing was just boxes of gear. Just boxes of gear. I probably had at one point 60 bottles of testosterone, and that's just test. Okay, you add in the other compounds that I had, because they might not be drugs that I haven't used D-ball since 2009, maybe.
Yeah,
I still had probably 400 tabs of it just in case on a whim I might want to run it, or maybe a client needs some that's local, and you know what I mean.
Yep. So Dave gives me crap about that. He was like, because everything I had run in the last year were things that were in my box that were just like leftovers, you know. But that's because for a decade I was, you know, doing that same thing. There were things I had to throw out when I first met Victoria. Like when she came here, and she's from out of the country. If there's ever a case where we needed medication, she knew that like, well, we have several different antibiotics here. There's these different, you know, like anything you could possibly need.
We said earlier in the show, these things don't go bad. They have a long shelf life. So it's not like you're going to buy something and not use it.
But to Scott's point, because when I just moved 2 weeks ago, I threw away a bunch of shit. I'm like,
did you?
I'm never going to use it. But I will say the only downside to that is if there's a problem legally, it does look like intent to distribute.
True.
So,
that's a good point.
You know, so.
I know when we end up, you know, I live in a high rise downtown, but when we go to buy our next home, I'm going to go back to having a walk-in closet. You know how like women have really nice shoes? My wife has really nice shoes because I'm a shoe guy. I got to make sure she, you know, looks the part at work,
goddamn
right?
Shoe fetish, buddy.
So I got all these, you know, lights to show, you know, to basically have the shoes and the heels at the ready, right? Even guys who do like they
sneaker boys.
collect. Right. They collect Jordans and stuff. Mine's all going to be gear.
Just with the lights too? Are you going to have the lights on them?
Yeah. There won't be any shoes in it. Shoes will be in their boxes. But all along the display on both sides will be all my gear.
Scott, how many pairs of shoes do you have?
Me?
Well, I'm going to ask you in a minute.
Oh,
Scott,
I was going to say.
How many pairs of shoes do you have? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I probably have a bunch.
Setup.
Oh,
no,
I probably have a bunch, to be honest, because I'm a kind of like, I haven't thrown my old shoes away. I get sentimentally attached to them.
Or I'm going to use them to mow the lawn, or I'm going to use them to do shit work.
So I have like, if you're not counting those, I have like my hiking boots and my tennis shoes. And then of course I have a couple pairs of dress shoes.
Yeah. Same.
You just purposely left out the 7 pair of Crocs that you own. And
the Crocs. And the Crocs. I've got Crocs.
Exactly.
2 pairs.
Dang.
Gotcha. Skip.
I'm getting away from the Crocs,
I know you're setting this up.
It took me a minute to figure it out. How many boxes of shoes do you have that you haven't even broken into and worn yet?
I did purchase this year 22 pairs of Oliver Cabell, or I'm big on Oliver Cabell or Veja, and I did
22.
But I'm a color match kind of guy. I'm a color match kind of guy.
Couldn't tell.
So
you're a check out my drip kind of guy.
Exactly. It drives my wife insane, and I love it every single time I do it. Oh my god!
You must be balling, dude.
They have to. They
with
have
the watches
to
too. He's doing
and
good.
watches.
But
he's doing good.
I had this thing this year, real quick. I had this thing this year where I told you I look over here and I see these. What's that?
Nothing.
No, but I look over here and I see these guys at Goldman Sachs. They're literally straight across. We wave at each other. I've told the story a million times. And it drives me nuts that these 25, 30-year-old guys that wear $6,000 suits and they have a regular job. And I'm looking at them going, God, I would love to do that because all I ever wear is sweats, workout shit and everything else. And I just thought, you know what? I'm getting older. I want to dress nice. I want to look nice on the occasion that I do go out. And so I'm like, you know what? I want some new shoes. And then it turned into, you know what? I have always wanted a watch. I am going to get a watch. And then I end up with a few more. But now when I go out, I feel like, okay, I feel like a normal person versus a meathead. And I like that. It makes, I don't want to say it makes me carry myself differently, but I like it. I enjoy it. So, and I can. I mean, for what it's worth, you know, I don't have kids to feed anymore and stuff like that. I do have to pay for other things like college and stuff, but, you know, that's okay. So I'm enjoying it a little bit.
Father Time, I think was his username, something fighting Father Time. I don't know if you saw my message. He asked if when he could he do a physique critique. I told him if he emailed me right now that we could get that into the show. So we'll see if he gets that to us. Hey guys, this was something from the Facebook group for Think Big, and we got a lot of questions over there. He said during a bulk, is edema around the ankles okay if blood pressure and labs are in check?
Is it like transient or is it like all day kind of thing? That'd be my next question, right?
Yeah.
Because I think we've all experienced some very transient, you know, edema in the calf region. You know, a lot of people when they fly on airplanes or they're sitting, you know, on a bus or something like that for long periods of time, or in the car for long periods of time, you know, they just look down and they press into or they pull their socks off and they're like, that's kind of an indent. I don't normally have that. Mm-hmm. If it's a one-time thing, I wouldn't think anything of it really. But if you're like, this is a chronic thing, even if your blood pressure is fine, I would still go and get checked. I'd get your labs done. I'd see what's going on with your proteins in particular, but I would definitely see a physician.
I'd add to that if unless you're just really sedentary, like me, Scott, or Andrew, you know, if I sit for a long period of time, I may get up and oh, okay, yeah, I have look, and then within 10 minutes, I don't. Or if you're standing for a long time and you same thing. But I think if you're active and you have it, and especially the older you get, I would almost go so far as to say that if you're consistently holding water in your legs, I would find it hard to believe that your blood pressure is all that great.
Same.
Because, I mean, what does it basically say? It says usually that the heart is not able to pull efficiently the water against gravity out of your lower body. So I know if I see it because I'm older, I would be like, yeah, if it was consistent for a few days, like if you go out and you have pizza or you have a big meal or two or your Thanksgiving, that's different. But if it's just a day-to-day thing, and if it happens for more than a few days, I would definitely be like, okay, where's my water intake? Is my water intake where it's supposed to be? Mm-hmm. I'd start questioning things like that. And if everything is where it's supposed to be, then I'd take a closer look.
My take was just a little bit different on it. I felt, because there were people in the group that were like, no, you should never have holding any kind of water. And I kind of felt like, really? Like I ran a lot of gear and I was pretty damn bloated. And my sock lines were just insane at times, you know, and I was kind of thinking like, yeah, man, I was like super bloated. I held a lot of water at times. And when you do that, especially if you're on your feet for your job, you know, standing for 10 hours, you're going to get a lot of blood in your legs that like it happens. So I kind of felt like I'm with you guys and I see where you're coming from, but I also kind of felt like unless it was really bad, like, is it pitting, you know, where you stick your finger in, it's creating a big, you know, nasty indentation. But if it's not like that, I almost feel like there's an element of like, I don't know. The attitude I got kind of was like, people were like, oh, you should never have any kind of water retention.
Not never.
You know,
but
you know
what
I mean?
Ideally, you probably shouldn't.
I think Skip's example was best, or the way, because okay, if I had a bunch of pizza and then I went and sat, like, okay, you know, transiently, not a big deal. You rode an airplane, you didn't move, you know, those are times where I'd say it's okay. But in your situation, Scott, I would actually be worried, to tell you the truth. I'd be worried about low blood albumin, protein, and I would that was my blood sugar, or my blood pressure was always fine. Everything was good. You know, but if you're holding 10 pounds of water and you're eating a shit ton of food and all that sodium, like, not good for your heart, not good for your kidneys.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. Yeah,
I'm with you guys. I get it, but
like, you're also younger. How old were you? I mean, the body is far more resilient.
But in bodybuilding, though, I just feel like you do spend time. I don't know. I'll take the other side on this one.
I understand you got to pay the cost to be the boss. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I think
it doesn't have to be like a dangerous. I'm not saying like it should be terrible, you know.
I'm saying I think you were tiptoeing towards the line of danger.
Yeah.
I think Skip agrees that, like Skip said, it's better if it's not, right?
Yeah.
It's better, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
better if you don't hold water in your ankles and your calves. I mean, it shows the body systems are working efficiently. So I would take that as signs of your liver not working very well, which is then going to affect your heart and your kidney. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's as big of a deal unless it was thick, serious pitting edema.
It's no big deal.
Yeah. You're fine.
love it.
You're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine.
I keep
Yeah.
trying to paint a picture of like, okay, it's not like dire straits, but it's, it's something to pay attention to.
It's a sign. It's a sign that this is not the direction I want to be going.
I was good with it. I grew. Not a big deal.
Yeah. No, I just feel like you get bloated, especially if you're taking like Test-Deca D-ball, old school cycle and tons of, tons.
I'd kind of put it up there with low HDL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
In a way,
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Chronically
that.
high blood sugar.
But exactly. But
Right.
over time, ideally it's not great. But can our body deal with it from time to time? Yes. Is it ideal? No.
Well, let me ask you back then, Scott. Were you checking your blood sugar?
Not as
You were
often as I
checking
am
it.
now,
You
and it
were
probably wasn't good.
Well, I don't think we
honestly,
were
at
as an
times.
industry though either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fairness, I mean, I'm just
When's the first time you guys checked your blood sugar that you can remember? You got your first glucometer?
Can't even remember now.
No.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure either.
I think I was 24.
So what year?
2005 or 6.
Oh, that's early.
Oh,
I would
okay,
say
yeah.
that's
Because you
easily
wouldn't have
you
heard
know why?
anybody on the boards in 2005 saying, "Well, what's your blood sugar?"
You know, it wasn't on the boards. I read, who's the guy, the fish oil? Oh gosh, it's one of the first nutrition books that I read. Like it was very sciencey, and it was all about the miracle of high dose fish oil, I think is what it's called. And I can't remember the doctor's name. And he kept on saying blood sugar, glycemic control, insulin sensitivity. So I'm like, I'm going to pay attention to this, And I remember I signed up through a catalog. I found I found some grocery store magazine, right? That had if you're diabetic, write to us and we'll send you a free glucometer with the hopes that you're just going to keep buying their test strips because that's what's expensive, right? The test strips.
Right.
And I remember I signed up for like 3 of those, and I got all that. I had like 20 glucometers at one time because I wanted to test them all and calibrate. So, because I just kept on getting them for free. I would go, and once the internet came out, I was going online. Oh, Merrick's offering free glucometer. I'm going to sign up for that. Eli Lilly's going to offer one. I'm going to sign up for that. So, yeah.
Scott and I are like, doesn't matter.
Right.
Blood sugar.
I'm getting
blood
huge.
schmugger.
Am I getting huger? Am I stronger than I was yesterday?
Right.
All right, another one from the group. It says, question that's been eating at me since I've heard them talk about it on the Transparent podcast. Do you all consider your genetic proclivity for things when programming? He talks about genetically having more slow twitch fibers after genetic testing, and I believe that's part of the reason why he programs relatively high volume. Excuse me. I was always a great distance runner and less of a sprinter. I'm more of a grinder overall when it comes to lifting rather than a super explosive mover. And although I prefer higher weights, lower reps overall, I've been toying with and absolutely loving higher rep quad work for my compound movements, leg press, squat pattern, as part of my top set, back off set style. Just curious as to what your guys' thoughts are on this overall when programming.
I'll take it if you don't. Okay.
Go for it. Go for it.
Well, here are my thoughts on it. And we covered this on rep ranges just not that long ago. Okay. You can do the testing, which is not, it's pretty invasive. It's not terribly fun. But if you're willing to go through that, I think it can be very beneficial. But remember, every muscle can be different. So you could have a different ratio in your quads than you do in your hamstrings. You can have different, we can go by the book and we can say, oh, okay, these muscles tend to be predominantly, this type versus this type. But it's still so individual. Or you can do the easy way and you can literally run phases of higher reps and then run another phase of lower reps. And yes, it's not at this perfect, completely controlled experiment, but you can get a pretty good idea of what you respond to. And I think it's important for people to note this, and I'm not accusing the person asking the question of doing this. I have no idea. But just because a set feels better in a different rep range does not mean that it's more or less beneficial. You literally have to gauge that based on progress. And if you're doing them both at the same time, I don't know how you're able to gauge the process that way. You need to control those variables more. But I think that running even just as short as 10 weeks of one and 10 weeks of the other can give you at least an idea. Okay, this one works a little better than this, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I'm going to give it 20 weeks, arbitrary number, to see, and then go back to the other. And you kind of, look, at the end of the day, this is all our own science experiment. What we do with training, nutrition, gear, everything else. So there's going to be a lot of trial and error. We're trying to save time. The viewers are trying to save time too by getting better advice so that they can kind of lean towards, this side or this area or this particular thing. But at the end of the day, you just have to trial it, assess it, and then make the necessary adjustments from there based on how you're responding.
Do you guys?
I'm with that 100%, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. But do you guys feel, on that note of experiment, trial, and error, do you guys feel that you figured out, say, chest versus legs respond to more volume, a higher rep load, or a higher repetition range versus, like, just to give my quick example, my legs definitely respond better to a higher repetition range than my chest. Like my chest, I'll go as low as 6 reps, on a safe machine. 6 to 10 seems to be like the sweet spot.
Would you say that you think people in general?
I was going to get there. And I think we'll find the studies show that the fiber types are a little more predominant to that type of stimulus in the lower body with the higher repetitions versus the upper body. But I have seen some people that responded really well to like sets of 15 to 20 on chest. Whereas to me, that just seems like almost warm up or a waste of time,
Look at cyclists, the size of their quads.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't tell me that when you see, and even more so calves on a cyclist, because they're not used anywhere near as much as the quads. But if you see that, you pretty much would have to know that guy is almost certainly going to benefit from higher rep squatting than low strength powerlifting 5 reps, that type of thing.
Well, actually, let me counter that because you're right. Their quads are out of this world. But have you ever watched some of the cyclists do their leg training? Like they're in the gym stuff. Because like they're getting that high repetition stuff on the bike, right? I was watching a video of one of these top guys, and he was doing single leg back squats, okay, with like 405 for sets of like 4 to 6. Dude, you know what? I'm gonna find this.
That's crazy.
I'm going to find this while we're talking, but
okay. And while you are, let me just add that there is something to be said of using your weight training as a cyclist, using your weight training to be opposite the training that you're using for, so that you're hitting both fiber types as well. Plus there's a component of cycling where you have the uphill sprints or that short burst of energy. And it also depends on the type of cycling. So, there's speed cycling, there's long distance cycling. And I think the reason I said cycling, I was leaning towards the long distance, more of the marathon cycling. I mean, you look at come on, Mr.
Lance Armstrong?
Huh?
Lance Armstrong?
Thank you. I for some reason was drawing a blank. Not exactly huge quads. I mean, if you compare him to everything else, okay, yeah, his quads are going to be bigger. But it wasn't those quads that are just going to be like, oh my God. Look. But we've seen that before. So I guess I'm trying to use an example where the daily activity or the training that is involved in a particular sport clearly, not even performance, not like maybe they're not even a good cyclist, but you see cyclists with those big quads and those big hams and those big calves, and they don't fit their upper body. It's kind of like, but training both sides, training fast twitch, slow twitch. I don't think that I would take a cyclist into the gym and have them train those high reps because they're already getting that training anyway. Similar to Jimmy, when I was working with Jimmy. What do they do? What do football players do with their strength and conditioning? It's all low reps. It's power. It's very short. They're not training like bodybuilders, not training with higher repetitions. So I told him, I said, let's do something you have not done before. basically, let's get you to train more similarly or more closely to a bodybuilder type rep ranges versus the things that you have done for years through your NFL career and in your college career, and arguably probably when you were in high school too. And it worked great.
I'm looking at that video, Andrew. I'll throw that in post-production if I remember. The guy's legs are those cyclist legs are just freaking insane.
He's doing Bulgarians with a barbell on his back with 397 pounds.
Phew.
I could never do that.
Yeah.
No, hell no.
Not at my strongest.
So fiber types can change over time too, depending on how you train them. So
especially if you're using SLU.
yeah, depending on how you train them though, the fiber types can change. So there's that too.
How much?
I think a lot. I think that you can
dramatically.
Yeah, Scott talked about it on Muscle Minds. So you can dramatically change them over time with the type of training that you do. So
okay, so as an example, just to give me again, I'm representative of the viewers because I don't, so I like to ask these questions. If you had hypothetically an 80-20 fast to slow, could you in theory change it? Could you flip flop that? Or would it be like you could change 70-30 instead of 80-20? That's what I'm trying. That's I don't know, and I don't know the answer to that either.
So I saved an article on this, and I was just finding it. All right, so baseline human fiber types. Type 1 are your slow twitch, oxidative. Type 2A, your fast twitch, oxidative, glycolytic, your intermediate ones. And then your type 2X are your fast twitch, glycolytic, the explosive ones that you use in a power clean or a sprinter, etc. So you can't convert type 1 to type 2 directly, but you can shift between the subtypes of type 2 X and type 2A back and forth based off the training that you're giving you. So no, those slow twitch fibers cannot completely convert to a type 2, but the type 2s, between oxidative glycolytic and then just straight glycolytic, those can convert back and forth. Yes.
Okay, and isn't that something to do with the conversion or the fuel source of it's ATP related, right? It almost has to be. Because
when you're talking about glycolytic, then absolutely it's ATP related. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's all ATP related, but like you're talking about energy systems too, like oxidative phosphorylation versus substrate level phosphorylation. Like what's happening? What's the readily available fuel source in that instant, right? So,
right. Well, I'm asking for layman's terms here.
But so here's a layman's oxidative. Just think of the word oxygen, right? Mm-hmm. You're utilizing oxygen. So the marathon runner is utilizing a lot more oxygen to get their exercise done, right? Whereas substrate level or more glycolytic, you are in glycolysis. You are using more. You're not using as much. It's anaerobic, so you're exercising in a non-oxidative state, basically. I explained that horribly. But
added in, she said there's a certain pool of type 2X fibers that are like stem cells in that they can go either way as far as fiber type and your training decides. She said, or what Andrew said. She wrote that like as
yeah, but I completely botched that. I used to have a lecture that I gave, and I used to get 15, 20 years ago to the college and to other trainers in our area. And I used to have it down pat, and little glimpses of it was coming back into my head, but then they were so out of place that I explained it like a moron. So
well, it's one of those things though too, that, and sometimes people will scoff at this, but you have so much in your brain for so long that I don't even want to think about the things that I have forgotten.
Yes.
You know what though, Skip? You hold on to the things that are important. You know what I mean? Like the things that you use, those are the things that, it's, so it's funny because I see this with, being around for as long as we have, there's the newer crowd of people who come into bodybuilding and they're discovering all these things. I was like, oh yeah, I remembered that.
Yeah.
But it's something I hadn't thought about. Sometimes people get caught up in the interesting little nuances, but then they haven't applied to anything I've done in the real world for the last decade. So it's like something that I was like, I just haven't paid attention to that anymore.
Wouldn't you say your brain focuses on the overall theme of whether something works, whether practice, supplement, compound, synergy between things? So you remember the overall theme, you just forget some of the details of the cross interactions, right? I think that's the best way to explain it. Like when someone asks me, like, I don't know, maybe a question in a check-in, and I'm like, I explain it the most simplest way possible because that's how my brain is bringing it up to my head at this point of,
Right.
yeah, it's going to help keep us burning fat, or it's going to keep us, you know what I mean? It sounds dumbed down because it's like, well, I don't remember all the, like glycolysis. I used to remember, or Krebs cycle. I used to remember all 10 steps of the Krebs cycle and all the different substrates that would enter, and then all the different NAD, NADPH, all the proton, all that shit. I used to have that memorized up until maybe 2012, right? Now, like, yeah, I know the Krebs cycle. It goes like this, you know. It's how we make energy, you know.
Yeah. All right, I wanted to take a minute, guys, and share some stuff. Check this out. Hold on a second. I'm a little bit better prepared here. How about we do this? Yes. So there were some people in the Facebook group that had posted some cool stuff up. First of all, check this guy out. How would you say his name, Skip? Jowa.
The I can't read it. I have my glasses on, but it's real small. Jowa.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you say his name, but look at this progress that he's made. So this is where he was before.
The J is probably silent, or it's like a Hawa or Hawa. Maybe it's.
I bet that's
it. Is it Samoan?
Ooh, and look at that.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's
Change your life, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
He got peeled too.
Yeah. Good for him.
And I'm guessing this is where he's at now. Like
it looks like he's still got young skin because it looks like the skin was pretty elastic too.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
Hey, I did that show, or I was at that show.
Were you?
Is that, or no, maybe they just did another Oklahoma show. Sorry. I was at the one earlier this year.
I mean, not only did he get lean, but to be able to pull a vacuum like that.
Yeah, no kidding. And then check this guy out, William. This is his before and after, which he already had a lot of muscle, but yeah, he's put on a lot, it looks like here.
Yeah.
These were just guys that were sharing their pictures with the group.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I figured I'd throw these up there. They didn't sign off on being put on YouTube, but they did sign off on posting in the group. So they're getting put up here now.
Excellent.
It looks good. 30 pounds on this cycle. He went from, this guy doesn't look like he was 188 in the before picture. 188 to, I think he said 213.
Put that side up again.
Yeah, he must be 5'5" or something. You know what I'm saying?
That's a pretty substantial change. I mean,
yeah,
I agree.
You just look at the arms and shoulders alone. It's like, man, you're talking He
looks pretty proud of himself on the left too, though, and the right.
Yeah.
He's got that smile. Like he knew he was going to gain 30, and then he's happy he gained the 30.
There was a couple more in here too. Let me see if I can scroll down and find them. Oh, this is just a cool one. Father and son did the Iron City Classic together.
Nice.
This is Rise 41 posted that up. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it is.
Very cool.
Doesn't he do a podcast?
Does he?
What's his
I
name?
think.
Rise 41?
Rise, yeah. That rings a bell. I don't know.
Everybody does a podcast now, right?
Well, true. Yeah.
Oh, there's UC Suma.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
No. We had somebody who was like, man, I'm so sick of hearing about UC Suma.
Get your own show.
Yeah. Get ridiculously lean, and then we'll talk about you.
Yeah.
I thought there was one more, but that might have been it. But yeah, I was looking for questions today, and so I scrolled through here and I was like, dang, we had a lot of people that were posting up some pretty cool transformations. So I figured I'd just see if I could pull those up. Oh, Casey Young just competed. I worked with him before, and then he did his own thing for this show. And he got second place here. This was at, I believe, the Western Michigan. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. I remember those days. I remember.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I
that would have
remember
been
when it started.
It was like your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
There's some food. I think that was it, though. I think that was it. All right. Anyway, like I said, I just wanted to share that because I saw some cool stuff. Share the positivity. Hey, one more thing I wanted to ask you guys. Coming into all the holidays, what is your approach with non-competitors that, you know, they want to figure out like, hey, how do I do, you know, obviously they're going to see this after Thanksgiving, but then in another few weeks, we've got Christmas and New Year's, and there's going to be parties and stuff. What do you guys, I want to hear from both of you. What do you tell your people?
3 F's: family, friends, and food. The only caveat with the food, that this is food right here. This one. Just so we're clear. Just portion control. If you're not competing, I've always felt like this. Even if you're OCD, black and white and everything, just like give your family a break. Give your grandma a break. Give your wife a break. They're cooking the food, man. Just be respectful enough to eat the food. You don't have to be the typical American and make yourself miserable and eat like a slob or a sloth, but eat. And Thanksgiving is easy because it's typically white meat.
Yeah.
Eat the gravy off the mashed potatoes. There's going to be butter in it. Big deal. You're not going to get like cooties from it or break out in a, you know, in a rash and all of a sudden be fat the next day. Just enjoy yourself. Portion control. Don't eat like a slob.
I would say, I tell people it's Thanksgiving meal, not Thanksgiving Day,
Right.
weekend, month. So, you know, one meal's not going to hurt anybody. One meal is not going to destroy.
It's on a Thursday. I can't start again until Monday.
Right. And but do I still get my free meal on Saturday night? It's like,
right.
I'm like, dude, if you're asking me that, do what you want. But like, to me, I can tell you what I did as a competitor who was in the off season most of the time during Thanksgiving is I would have one meal. You know, I'd eat my regular meals throughout the day, and I would go home and not bring extra. I wouldn't bring leftovers home. You know, I think it's one meal is not going to mess anybody up in the bodybuilding world. Now, if you're a competitor in a prep, that's a little different. You know, we got nationals coming up in 2 weeks, so they better stay on your freaking plan, or we're gonna have some problems.
You chose.
I have
the
a guy
show.
though who's like depleted, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to utilize that to get some carbs in him. It's not going to be a big deal. You know, it's, you know, we're not planning on doing something that like, now we're going to repeat this into the show using Thanksgiving food, but like for him, he's already in shape. So it's not going to be a problem. We're not trying to race to get there or anything, you know, but
Gotcha.
yeah, in general. And then, you know what I've told people too, and I didn't invent this idea, but somebody else had mentioned it once and I've suggested it. I've used it myself, and I think that it works out really good for people that are kind of afraid, because we do get people that are like maybe new to dieting, and they're like, I've been making so much good progress, I don't want to mess this up. And you know, there is that tendency for some people to like lose their mind once they start eating. If I were to get into Thanksgiving dinner, grab some turkey, grab some veggies, maybe even some gravy on that, and eat that first, I've kind of preemptively created a governor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put that in my stomach first and then go back and get turkey.
You would think,
turkey.
Scott. I've seen some people mess some shit up, but
Yeah, and veggies, and then all my sides. And it's, you know, it's a lot more easy to, you know, than just have that meal versus if I start out straight with the stuffing, man, I'm going to just like load that plate up with stuffing, you know?
I don't know about you guys, because we're all in our 40s, but like, do you really care that much about, well, I was being polite, Skip.
Thanks. I appreciate the compliment.
Do you guys really care about food that much anymore compared to, say, 20-year-old Skip or 18-year-old Skip and Scott? Like, do you really, like, we've had all the food. We've had all the food.
From a dieting standpoint, yes, but I will say this, and this sounds bad, but I'm just being honest. I have the means now to eat really good food. We all do. Versus when we were 20. My idea of eating something when I was 20 was like Burger King or a bag of combos. But I will tell you that a burger at Bardot is something that I'm going to relish and I might actually want. Am I going to break my diet for it? That I'm not going to do. Yeah. But so, I mean, from that standpoint, yeah, food is different in that sense because I know where to find good food. I am a foodie. But no, when it comes to dieting and understanding, I mean, that's part of being a veteran or a seasoned bodybuilder or living the bodybuilding lifestyle. If you live this lifestyle and you struggle to stay on your diet, I just can't imagine. I don't know what that feels like. That I don't. I'm not going to see food and go, oh my God. Like I could sit here in front of four dozen donuts, gourmet donuts, and it's not going to bother any one of us. But there are a lot of people who they can't do that. You got to keep that shit away from them because it's like a drug or something. And that's where they eat it and they go off the rails and then they're just, it's just out of control. I don't know. I can't relate to that. I've never had that emotional connection to food, but I can eat food and go, oh, yeah, it's pretty damn good. I think I would want to eat something like that when next time that I'm out with my family or this restaurant. I can relate to that part of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got asked toward the beginning what your Thanksgiving dinner is going to be, Skip. Like, what's the plan?
First I will be dieting. We've had a few weeks here. It's not typically stressful around the Skip Hill household, but this year has been we've had where you go, like this could stop at any time and be cool again. So I am going to be on my diet, but typically we're a ham because the white meat I eat enough white meat for years and years and years. I don't want to eat it. Give me ham, give me duck, give me something off the beaten path, and I'm gonna eat it. And I'm gonna have me a piece of pie.
Nice.
Not this year.
Wow. So you're just gonna stay on plan. There's no.
I really am.
Dinner.
It's been a tough time. It's been a really tough. And for me, that is my. I don't want to say control, but that's my good spot. I have control over those things, and some things have happened that I have not had too much control over. And so, yeah, this is a rarity. Usually, it would be the ham, the green bean casserole, all the typical,
like casserole.
Michigan stuff, right?
One time a year,
cheesy potatoes, things like that you don't eat at any other time of the year. So, yeah, definitely, I would definitely be doing, and probably will for Christmas when we're in Milwaukee, but not now.
And you're going to someone's house having dinner tomorrow night, Andrew?
Yeah, we have some friends from the gym that are they just built a really nice new house, and they're hosting a lot of people over, some of my other clients and stuff. So
nice.
We're going over there. We're actually spending the night, which I was like, I got a house.
Okay.
Like,
adult slumber party.
Yeah, there's no pineapple.
This isn't a gated community.
This isn't that kind of party.
Okay,
No. I'm telling you though, last year I don't think we did anything. It was another day. If we didn't have this invite, Rachel's even probably more so than me, not food motivated at all. She's what, 12 weeks post show now. She's actually 1 pound lower than her stage weight at her last show. So,
wow.
And she's eating double the carbs, almost double the fat, zero cardio, no stims, no PEDs, any of that. So yeah, this is the best reverse we've ever had. And she's obviously motivated by continuing that progress, going into probably one more season here as a pro. So, but for me, it's just, I've eaten so much food over my life that I'm just like, if given the choice of you could eat or not eat and you would maintain the same muscle mass, I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to eat. I would absolutely take that meal away and rather just take that time and do something else with it. So, yeah.
I'm excited
to get a burger. If we're ever in Vegas, you're going with me. They'd be like,
get a burger.
That's a good burger.
Yeah. I'm excited. We're getting catering.
Nice.
So we got Victoria's dad drove in, and then my parents are going to come over. And last time we did this, it turned out to be like a stressful thing where all this food needs to be made and this turkey needs to be cooked for 3,500 hours and all these things. Like, it was a lot of stress. So I was like, well, what if we just get it catered? And there's this place in Detroit called Slow's Barbecue, and they're doing really that. Like, they're kind of like the barbecue place of Detroit, and they're doing like a smoked turkey type dinner with a bunch of different sides and cornbread and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I'm going to go pick that up at noon, and it's going to be all hot and ready to go. So there's going to be no preparation, no work. So I like that idea. We can just hang out and visit
on the way. Just kind of break it while you're driving, just reach in there. And
I heard it's the most. You guys said it was the biggest party day. Tonight's the biggest party night of the year. I heard tomorrow is like the #1 fire department call day of the year because of everyone that's trying to fry or boil or whatever their own turkeys. What is it?
Deep fry, isn't it?
Deep fry.
Yeah.
In that pressure cooker bomb thing.
I guess, dude. Wow. I've been seeing a lot of videos on Instagram where police fire department are giving examples of this is what can happen. These guys are all covered in their gear and they're dropping it in there, and this thing turns into a fucking bomb. It's like, whoa.
I think they put it in frozen. Isn't that the mistake? Because of the
You're
water.
probably right. You're probably right.
And it blows. I don't know. It's great. We don't. I always, I got to be careful. I got to be PC, so I'm not gonna say it. But we don't do the deep fry thing.
No, I've never done that
I'll
either.
leave that comment for when
Me
we're
either.
done.
And Rise does have a podcast, by the way. He's got Rise
I thought he did.
Rise 41 podcast. So yeah, you guys go check him out. He said he lost a bunch of weight for that show. So anyways, guys, we appreciate everybody tuning in for another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear. Go to bodyberry.com. Reach out to Andrew for coaching, and teamskip.com. Reach out to Skip. And of course, check out TrenNutrition.com. Use our code THINK over there, and supplementsource.ca for Canadians. Great deals that change week to week. Thank you to everybody over at Patreon. We'll be taking more Patreon questions. As always, a bunch of those questions were Patreon questions today. Leave us questions for the next show. Of course, that's how we make this thing happen. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, then we'd love to have you along for everything we do. Like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, hit the hype button, all those things, guys. And for another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Gear, we will see you soon. Thanks, guys.
You're a good podcast talker.
Don't
see you guys. Everybody in the live stream. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you for saying that.
Oh, dude. You want to hear something crazy, Skip? When we first went to YouTube in 2019, channel was doing good on audio, right? But then I was like, all right, we're going to hit this hard. Because we had the Advices Radio YouTube, but it sucked. And they weren't doing anything with it. Yeah. So that's why I started Think Big. And very first week was like the week before the Olympia. And I scored an interview with Brandon Curry. Literally the week before he won the Olympia. Oh, wow. And he was at Oxygen, and he was like, yeah, man, I'll do an interview with you. And it's just really, I just train here all day. And then it's just sitting around in my room and stuff. So yeah, man. So I'm talking to him like at night, several days out from the Olympics, getting ready to fly out. And then it got like 300 views on YouTube.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it was just like
the Olympia.
Well, then after the Olympia, I did another interview with him. Got like 300, 500 views. It was like just a new channel. Nobody knew of it.
And
it was
you
like,
didn't know how to hit, you didn't know how to fit everything together. And
yeah.
YouTube put that plate of food in front of the hungry people,
Yeah.
It's so anybody, I have a lot of respect for it now, because if anybody, a layman, you hear this all the time. Oh, he's a YouTuber. He's an influencer. He doesn't work very. They know shit you don't know. Like, this is not simple. It's not fucking simple. Thankfully, I don't have to blow up a show for like 300,000 subscribers, because that's not what I'm looking. I'm just looking for PR, for exposure, putting out information so I can continue to feed the machine. I don't want 2 million. You'd have to literally. That's your fucking job. Like, forget about training people.
Yeah.
Look at you guys follow that guy Jesse James West, his name is?
Yeah. We met him. Victoria was on his channel back at the Olympia. Somebody hooked her up with him because he was doing a thing on female bodybuilders at the Olympia. And so they did they ended up like using her footage as like the grounding part of the segment, where they like kept coming back to her, where they're like, they open up talking to an expert, and then they go and they talk to people, and then they like go back to her. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I was just, because like I had never heard of him, I guess, and then Kyle, my buddy, had mentioned to me he might be someone to have on, and I'm like, I gotta look up who this is. And this guy's got like 2 million subs on YouTube and 1 million followers on Instagram, and I'm like, well, how? Because I'm not gonna be mean. He doesn't have like an impressive physique. He's not like.
No, he's not a physique guy. That's that's not what he's about,
But I guess what he did was he just grinded all through COVID. And like he was one of the only people that continued making content like every day, and people got used to watching him. And then it's kind of like, well, when someone already has like 600 followers, you're like, well, who is this? Maybe I should pay attention to him too. And it's kind of like a snowball effect, right?
Yeah.
So
the way I've seen it is that like there are those cool stories, but for me, I feel like I'm just a blue collar dude that does this. This is like my literally, I'm a blue collar freaking podcaster. It's like we don't get a ton of views, but we get enough views that it's like, well, I get clients, and
the lights on.
Yeah, it keeps the lights on. True Nutrition pays a little bit here, the peptide place pays a little bit there, and it all kind of comes together, and it's like I'm making my blue collar living, punching the clock.
But it's more fun too, because I know that and you've probably seen it, the things that you learn that you're supposed to do, man, that's awful fucking rigid, man.
Yeah.
You're just locked down on a lot of the stuff that you. I mean, one of the things is to continue to repeat a lot of the same shit, a lot of the same topics.
Once you find the thing that works, then you just keep redoing it. Yeah.
It's like, who wants to talk about arm training every week? But there are plenty of channels out there killing it that are focused 80% of it is arm training.
Yeah. I've seen that happen across, like I've seen channels that have blown up doing that. Like in the shooting channels, the gun channels, there was a guy who did like a breaking news thing about when Charlie got taken out, and they did like this breaking news thing, and then all of a sudden that like brought in a ton of listeners. So then he had to do he normally did like gun reviews and stuff, but now he did this little bit because it related to guns, and then his whole channel shifted to like, hey guys, today there was this news about this guy who did this thing related to this incident, and it's like, and the channel's just like, what's that?
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, right.
Well,
exactly.
He probably went back to his regular material, and it went back to shit views.
I don't know.
I think I need to do this again, and then
Once you find out you might like someone's personality, though, like maybe he just wasn't discovered yet. He broke the news. People are like, oh, I kind of like this guy. I like how he sounds. I like how he's doing his reviews. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing.
Like we got a bunch of views for the one we did with Janoshik. Like it blew up, went viral, and then we did a follow up the next week because I had more information. But then we didn't do a follow up to the follow up. But we did get new people out of that. You know what I mean? But I wonder if we also then lost people because they're like, well, I just wanted to hear about Janoshik news. You know what I mean?
Did you guys ask him? Because I watched like the first 10 minutes and I got sidetracked. Did you ask him about the pushback from everyone saying, oh, he just fakes those, or he
Yes,
he gets paid? Okay, so what did he say about that?
Okay, so basically he said that we are welcome. Everybody is always welcome to check him.
Yeah,
because he can't know who's sending him what samples. So let's say that he was like fixing something and he was telling everybody that this company was good. You buy that company, you send in a blank sample to him. He doesn't know where that came from.
Yeah.
So he's going to then basically correct himself in that situation,
Or I guess you could hire one of the other companies that does it. There's like there's another company over here that does it now. And you could spot check him or fact check him or whatever you want to call it by sending samples to both people and seeing.
Yeah. He did say that he's had a lot of threats.
I bet.
He said initially it was a really big thing when he wasn't anybody. But he said now, like, if you threaten him, now it's like going to put you in a bad position because you're doing an illegal business and you're making a threat to a legit business person. True. So that's like that things get legal real quick in that scenario. Yeah. So he's like, we don't get as many threats, but they still do get the threats, which I could imagine, man.
Well, there's that guy that was talking shit about me because remember 2 years ago I broke I shared the results of Janoshik with of the 3 samples I'd sent in of a product.
Yeah, what was that?
It was a company down here that was like trying to send me stuff, and I had heard that Hunter, Nick, and a few of the other guys were using it. They're like, this ain't legit, dude. This isn't good. So I'm like, let me save everyone some worry. Let me send it in. We'll get the results back. And like NPP was dosed at like 50%. The Primobolan, the Masteron came back as Primo. Make that make sense, okay?
No,
And Primobolan is typically a more expensive drug than Masteron. So it was like,
I tell you what happened. They had 2 batches here. He went and he printed out the labels. He came back and he went, oh shit.
Regardless, the quality control wasn't there, and
this batch, I guess.
the products were underdosed. So, yeah.
My jokes don't work if you don't laugh at them.
Hit that button. Hit that button, Scott.
I don't have a button. I
I thought we had a button that plays sounds.
Wrong one.
There you go. There you go.
I started thinking, I was like, well, what are we going to do today, guys? We have stuff. We have some questions. What do you say we just do a listener Q&A today? We just dive straight into that.
I'm so focused on the one I have to do tonight. I got that Jeffrey Schofield guy from China.
All right,
I'm a little anxious about it. So
we only have enough content to do one show this time, so we'll put out a show just one time. One less this week. I just don't have enough time to be able to put together content for 2 shows.
Or just like cut it up and move some of the questions around and release it again the following week. And those that like kind of nod off 13 to 17 minutes in, well, it's new content for you.
Yeah, we just The second half. We just re-released that. No, you hadn't seen that.
I can